Hello. Comeback time. It's the moment no one's been waiting for. But okay, so not no one, I have been waiting for. Because I haven't had any time because I have the busiest work schedule ever right now. And I'm also studying for the LSATs. So I have very full weeks and never the house to myself. And when it is to myself, my dog is barking. So I'm taking this moment of silence. Let me enjoy it. To finally film my passion project. No, not my passion project, but something fun that I like to do. Passion hobby. Sure. But anyways, I was watching Throne of Pages, and you know what she did? She stopped buying books until she read her entire physical TBR. That's so impressive. And then I was thinking, the fact that I find that really impressive and I could never do that probably means I have too many books on my physical TBR. That's what that means. So these are them here because they can't fit on my bookshelves. I basically was like, you know what? If I don't think I am ever going to read all the books on my physical TBR, why do I have them? So this is me going through them and getting rid of the ones that I'm like, will I ever get around to that? Gone. Maybe. We'll see. That's the plan. I'm not very good at sticking to plans. But I'm going to start with my stack because these were in my bedroom. Okay, so first I have American Royals by Katharine McGee. I honestly didn't know what it was about. I just saw one booktuber talk about it and I was like, okay, probably shouldn't have done that. But it was on sale. Not for 20% off at Target. I got it used. It was, $1. So I'll keep it for now. There There by Tommy Orange. I do really want to read this. Yes, obviously it comes very highly recommended. So keep that. This is going very poorly so far. Secret Lies of Librarians by James Patterson and Matt Eversman. Got it signed by James Patterson himself. By Jim, good old Jim. I met him and his wife Sue. I have a really funny story about that actually. When I went up to go get it signed, I was like, my mom was trying to, make conversation. So she was like, we love your young adult. And I was like, yeah, I was obsessed with Maximum Ride. And he goes, oh, okay. I was like, okay, thanks, bye. He walked away. I took the book and walked away. It was so awkward. I didn't know what to, he was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, bye. I don't know. It was weird. But anyways, Intermezzo, Sally Rooney. I cannot wait. I know nothing about it and I don't want to know anything about it, but I'm super excited. I just need to be in the right headspace. I finished one book in October. One. I didn't even start it in October. I started it in September. That's how poorly my reading has been going and how busy I've been. Anne of Green Gables, I just watched Anne with an E again, so I really want to read this. I will read it. Will I? I want to. That's going to be my problem today. Kristen Hanna, The Great Alone. I really want to read a Kristen Hanna book. Keep. I got to go faster through these. Hidden Figures. I wanted to read it, didn't want to read it, wanted to read it, didn't want to read it, but I have it signed. It's personalized, so I kind of want to, I'm going to keep it whether or not I read it. I do want to read it. Don't know about this one. I've tried to read it 5 times and I have never made it all the way through. And I don't know why. I don't know what my problem is. I just don't find it interesting enough. And I'm sorry, the first book changed my life. Stalking Jack the Ripper changed my life. And I just can't get into this for some reason. But I really want to finish it. It wouldn't take me that long. How about a maybe? I'll make a maybe pile. I think that'll make life easier. On Earthward, Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I have to read it. That's required reading if you want to like books. Look how beautiful The Secret Garden is. Obviously, in any classic book that looks like this, I would never get rid of. Oh, and if I stamped my stamp in it, I can't get rid of it. but I didn't stamp my stamp in any books I haven't read yet. Mary Oliver, Upstream, I just got this. I've been dying to read Mary Oliver for the longest time. I'm super excited about this. Again, it's just time and attention, and there's a little note in it, which is super cute. I love that. I bought it used. Super excited for this. So excited. It's kind of like a haul too. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Honestly, I picked it up because it was $1 and I've heard people talk about it, but I hate this and I hate this. So if I have to get rid of it, I won't be too upset, but I just bought it, which makes me not want to get rid of it. And it sounds good. Like, it sounds cute. There's the Goodwill sticker. From the description of her character, I think she will be a relatable main character that I will enjoy reading about. Okay, listen. I've owned this book for years, for at least 3 years, and I am just never ready to cry like that. And I know it's so good and people love it and it's terrific, and I'm sure it is. I believe it, and I believe I would love it, but I also believe that I would cry, and I don't know if I'm emotionally can handle that. So it took me like 2 years to read The Dragon Republic because I knew it was going to be really upsetting. So, and then I have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan, which I was super excited about, but then I read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime and I didn't like it. I didn't like reading about high schoolers anymore. Now that I'm, an adult, just reading about high schoolers wasn't my jam. Not because, like, YA. I love YA. I love a good little 16-year-old doing a little figuring herself out moment. I love it. I wrote one of those. But when it's about teenagers, but written and marketed for adults, I don't like that. So maybe this is YA and it won't be that, but I've just been hesitant about it ever since then. I don't know. I'll think about it. Okay, Inferno by Dan Brown. Okay, if I'm being so honest with myself, I probably will not get around to this. I should donate it. That was a hard decision to make, and I don't even love Dan Brown that much. I mean, I loved the Da Vinci Code, but because I don't know. F. Scott Fitzgerald, Tender is the Night. Yeah, I'm almost done with it. This is what I have left to read. Like, what's wrong with me? And I annotated it too. It's like, why can't I just finish that last little bit? Who knows? But I have to keep it. God, I thought that was a bug. It's just string. Charles Dickens, Great Expectations. I want to read a Charles Dickens, even though it might be torture. I want to be Rory Gilmore or whatever. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I definitely want to read this. I definitely want to read it. Yeah. Northanger Abbey. Love Jane Austen. Can't wait to read another Jane Austen. Who knows when. But I love it. And I own all her books in pretty classic, but I also like I like actually reading one of these first so that I can like write in it and mess it up a little bit, make it look like it was loved, because it was. So yeah, had to free up more storage because I hoard things. Even I don't understand the concept of storage on technology, but I do know now that I should go faster, that I'm taking too long. The Summer of the Great Grandmother by Madeleine L'Engle. I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassing myself on the internet, but what else is new? The Crosswicks Journal. This is the second one, but I don't think you have to read it in order. Love the aesthetic. Super excited to read it. That was the brief overview. Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, the complete short stories. Super excited to read it. Love mysteries. Actually, I need to get more into mysteries. I haven't read that many, but when I do read one, I love it. So I don't know what my issue is. I just never go pick them up, but I love them. So short stories, super fun. Miss Marple, Agatha Christie, slay. Euripides by Medea. Nope. Medea by Euripides. Slay, woman, doing revenge. So, soup short. So, it literally fits between my eyes. Maybe I should read it. And that'll make me feel better about only reading one book in October. Someone will take me short. That was English. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, who I'm pretty sure also wrote Piranesi. I'm super excited to read it. It looks like it was masterfully written. There are endnotes and illustrations, and it's like ginormous. But I'm super excited to read it, actually. Like, I just really want to. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. I have 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I really want to read it. Somebody else read it before me and wrote in it, which is always super fun. War Storm by Victoria Aveyard. The classic. Is she ever going to read it? Who knows? Who knows? But I have all the rest of her books. I gotta read King's Cage. I've read all of those before, but I'm trying to reread them so I can be caught up for War Storm. The Woman Warrior by Maxine Hong Kingston. I have 2 copies of this because the first one I used to rip up and use for like collages and crafts and whatnot. So then I got a second one so that I could actually read it if I wanted to. And I do kind of want to. It sounds really interesting, and like, you know, I read some of the writing when I rip out the pages, and it sounds really good. And like, I like her style, and it won the National Book Critics Circle Award for nonfiction. So the critics like it too. I'll probably read it. I'm doing very badly at this, aren't I? Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I do really want to read it. I don't really like that this is the cover, but I've already started with tabbing. No writing though, just tabbing. Nope, there's some underlines in here. That might not be me though. That might have been someone else. Oh, no, it's me because I wrote a question mark on this. I want to read it, but I feel like No, I do want to read it. This is going to be a maybe because I want to finish it, but I also feel like no, you can't understand the genre and period of time. Okay. So I read 1984 and I loved it. And from that, I was like, okay, so I understand how people were feeling about dystopia. But I guess I cannot fairly say that, by just reading one. So I feel like I should read another. Save that for later. Sense and Sensibility. I already talked about Jane Austen. Same sentiment. Girl, Woman, Other. I have to read this. 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 Modern classic. So they say. So Jack Edwards says. And I believe him. So I really want to read it. I do. And I've had it for a really long time. I'm not doing very well. Tom Jones. Henry Fielding. Honestly, I read another of Henry Fielding's, and sorry, I'm looking at the introduction right now, but am I ever gonna read this really, or did I just buy it because it was $1? I probably just bought it because it was $1 and thought maybe one day I'll read it, but that's not really, I shouldn't do that. No, I'm not gonna read this. I might think I will, but I won't. That's 2 books in the no pile. Grave Mercy by Robin. Ooh, I love this bookmark. By Robin Lefevers. Oh, that means I just lost my place. His Fair Assassin, Book 1. I am very excited to read this. It's YA. One of my friends read it, and she said she loved it when she was younger, but I love reading YA, as long as it was written for YA. I do want to read this. I love fantasy. I love YA fantasy. I do. I just love YA fantasy. There's nothing I can do about it, okay? Tess of D'Urbervilles. I do want to read this, and I found this at not a Salvation Army, Habitat for Humanity, 1919. So it's 100 years old, and it's super cute, and it smells really good. So definitely keeping that. And I do want to read the story, but I might not read it in this book because I don't want to hurt the book. I want to be careful with this book. But then I'd have to buy another copy of it. I don't really want to do that. That's the whole point of today. Don Quixote. I do really want to read Don Quixote. I love a good journey book. A book about a journey, a book about adventure. By Miguel de Cervantes. I do want to read it. And this is the Norton Critical Edition, so there's helpful information here to help me understand the context and everything. I have to keep checking to make sure my phone hasn't stopped recording. I really wish I could get a camera, but unfortunately I want to go to law school. Silas Marner, George Eliot. I'm not going to read it. I read part of it for a class, and so I was like, I'll read the whole thing. No, I won't. I'm being real with myself. I think I may have lost the cover for this. I didn't realize that until I just picked this up just now and realized I couldn't remember when the last time I saw the cover for this was. And it's a cool cover too. And I don't know where it is. But anyways, I do want to read it. 1Q84 by Murakami. I haven't read a Murakami yet. I read the first chapter of this as a sample online and then bought it. I liked it. So I'm going to read it. When? Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. For some reason, I have it in my head that I can't read this series until I finish Warstorm, even though they're not connected, and there is no reason for that to be. But for some reason, I have it in my head I need to finish Warstorm first before I can finish this. And of course, to read Warstorm, I have to finish King's Cage. So it's a vicious cycle we're in. The 4 Million, collection of short stories by O. Henry. It has, what's it called? The Hand. Oh, God. The Gift of the Magi. I don't know why Hand was in my head. I think I was thinking of the Monkey's Paw for some reason. The Gift of the Magi. So, and other. He's talented short story writer. Why does this look self-published, though? Am I right? Edith Wharton, The House of Mirth. Edith Wharton. I would like to read Edith Wharton. Do I know what this is about? No, but slay woman author. So, maybe. The Hawkeye Monster, Gothic Western, Richard Brautigan. Yes, I would read this. I did not like Trout Fishing in America, but I did like Watermelon Sugar. So, yes, maybe. A Room with a View by E. Forster. That was magical. I think it was just in the beginning because it matches the color aesthetic. So, wow, I'm finding all these things. I forgot I had one of the tabs in Brave New World. So I'm just, wow, this is so fun. And I found this bookmark. Exciting day. The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivy. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Eowyn Ivy. I'm super excited. It sounds so interesting. Super literary fiction. Yes, definitely read. Trout Fishing in America. I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to keep it. I like keeping books that I have read, even if I didn't like them, because this might be my second copy. So I was going to give one to my friend. But I thought I did, but maybe I didn't give it to her. I'm just going to set that aside in its own special pile. Selected Letters of Gustave Flaubert. Oh my God, oh no, it's a bookmark. I thought this had a tab thing in it because... anyways, I really liked Madame Bovary, and I was really enjoying reading his letters. Clearly, I was enjoying it, but then I stopped. So, don't know why. I want to read it. Native Son by Richard Wright. I do want to read. Will I read it? Probably not. If I'm being real with myself. What is The Bluest Eye doing over here? I read this. It was really good. Ugh. 3 Guineas by Virginia Woolf was on my physical TBR video 2 years ago. And it's still on it. I love Virginia Woolf. I can't get rid of a Virginia Woolf book. It goes against my core values as a person, as a reader, and as a woman. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, #1 book of the century, whatever. So I guess I'll read it, according to the New York Times. And readers? Did they both say? No, I think Demon Copperhead won, which I want to read that too. Red Azaleas by Anchi Min. Ugh, she grew up in China under Mao Zedong. Maybe. I want to say yes, but I don't know if I can say yes and mean it. Portable Arthur Miller. I started reading Death of a Salesman, and I want to finish it. And I really want to read The Crucible because I never got to read that in school. So, I did not know he was married to Marilyn Monroe. Who was going to tell me that? I don't know why someone would tell me that. Anyways, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Obviously, I want to read it because it's the art of war. And I read The Prince by Machiavelli, and I really enjoyed it. So these have similar vibes. Then I have... Oh, I thought that those two went together. They don't. These two go together. Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning. YA sci-fi. I love. I'm here for it. I read Is it Gemini by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman? Did they both write it? I know it's a collab, and I really enjoyed it, so I feel like I would really enjoy that too. Maybe cry, actually. The Count of Monte Cristo has nothing to do with Aurora Rising, but I do want to read it, even though it's ginormous. But it's supposed to be not like an easy classic, but like pretty straightforward. For some reason, no reason at all, it gives me Voltaire vibes. It gives me Candide vibes, and I don't know why. Black Wings Beating, I keep it because it's special to me, but I don't know if I'd ever get around to reading it. But I don't know, this is gonna be a maybe. Suspicious Minds by Rob Brotherton. I do really want to read this. It's very interesting. It's about why humans believe conspiracy theories. But look how small the text is. I was just watching a commentary video on how people who are like readers on TikTok don't actually read the books. And there was a girl who was like, look how many words are on the page. That's so many words on one page. That's ridiculous. And not to sound like her, but why are there so many words on this page? That's like 8-point font. I'm like squinting. Okay? But anyways. So even though it doesn't look that long, there's a lot of words in that book. Maybe. Goblinwood, I might have to get rid of it because it's taking up place. But the main character has my name. And I want to support independent authors. But I mean, I guess I didn't actually support her because I bought it secondhand at Goodwill. Maybe. Okay, A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir, because I thought this was the first one. And it's not. An Ember in the Ashes is the first one. So I'm holding on to it until I can get An Ember in the Ashes at a good price. So I'm still on that journey. Notebook. I love this notebook. Look how pretty it is. It's great. Okay, this is a childhood book. Obviously, I'm keeping it. No one has read Puppy Tales 2. It's super good. It's about this little puppy that does things. It was one of my favorite books as a kid. I read it 50,000 times. Don't know why it's here, actually. The Song of Achilles, Don't Kill Me. I haven't read it yet. Sorry, Madeline Miller. But I want to. Again, it's the same thing with A Little Life. I'm just not ready to like sob like that. I do that enough in my daily life. I don't need books to help. Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger. Actually, this is one I had to think about. Oh my god, look at the text. That's so tiny. Why did she do this to me? But, I don't like reading it. It's, the font. The font is not Times New Roman, so I hate it. It's like, I can't tell you what font it is, but if I saw it, I would know it. The movie's so good, so I wanted to read the book, but in terms of like books I'm prioritizing, this would not be high on the list. So maybe. Threadneedle by Carrie Thomas. I do want to read this. It sounds very interesting. Oh my god, there's another book in my room that I totally forgot about. It's like the Sisters of Something and Something. Blood and Oath and Sisters. The Blood Oath of Sisters. Something like that. I love books about sisters because I have two and two halves. Ordinary Monsters. This kind of goes together in my head with Doctor Strange and Mr. Norrell. That can't be right. That's not what that book is called. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. But it sounds really interesting about, kids with powers being hunted for the powers that they have. Hashtag maximum ride, am I right? So slay. I do really want to read it. I'm very interested in it. I love books like that. But unfortunately, the general discourse of BookTube and BookTok will make me read other books first because I get excited about what other people are excited about instead of getting excited about what I really want to read. So that's also a problem that I have. I just want to read the newest, freshest, most talked about book. I want to be in on the conversation instead of focusing on reading things that I actually am really excited to read about and that sound really interesting to me. It's My Body with Emily Ratajkowski. Am I actually going to read that? Do I actually want to read it? Or do I just want to be part of the conversation? I just want to be part of the conversation. But the conversation is mostly over now, so maybe I can finally get over it. The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Love The Secret History. Really want to read The Goldfinch. Stephen King on writing. Even though I think that he's very problematic, he's also a very talented author, unfortunately. So, and I've read pieces of it, and it's a really good book. So, Persuasion. I've talked enough about Jane Austen today. Actually, I don't think you can talk enough about Jane Austen in one day, but Robert Louis Stevenson, Treasure Island. My mom just asked me who he was because it's his birthday today. I guess it's, you know, when they do Google stuff and it's people's birthdays, whatever. So she was like, who's Robert Louis Stevenson? And I was like, oh, he wrote Treasure Island and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I was like, I read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's why I know who he is. But I also should read Treasure Island by him. So since it's his birthday, I'll keep his book as a favor to him. Happy birthday. Oh God, there's stacks in the way now. Arabian Nights. Grr. Okay, I really want to read it. Because it's Slay Woman who tells stories to keep herself alive. This is gonna be a maybe. Dune. I really enjoyed the movies, so I would love to read the book and like get even more into the world. And I love good complicated world building. Call me crazy. I love complicated world building that's really thick. So I don't think having to slug through the world building in this book would take me away from it. I actually would enjoy it. So I do really want to read it. Anna Karenina, I really want to read it. That's all there is to that. War and Peace Part 1. So I won't buy Part 2 until I finish Part 1. But again, the text. I need a magnifying glass to read that shit. Am I allowed to curse on YouTube? Why do people always beep it out? Does it like not reach all audiences if you swear? Mapping the Bones. I've had this for probably 5+ years. Sorry, Jane Yolen. It's not that I'm not interested in it. It's just that it's, when I'm going to pick up a book, it's never at the top of the list. And I have a really big list. So, maybe. See, that's the thing. I also just hate getting rid of books. I just do. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I really want to read. I read 24 pages and I really enjoyed it. So I really want to read it. And I loved Of Mice and Men. Oh, that book made me cry. It was so good. This is definitely a keep. The Fates Divide by Veronica Roth was also in my physical TBR video 2 years ago. And I still really want to read it. But I still have to read The Fates Divide. I still have to read Carve the Mark before I read this. And I'm more and more interested in that because I'm in a sci-fi mood. I need to stop thinking about what I should read and just read what I want to read because I'm a very mood reader. So if I try and force myself to read something, I'm never going to just read. Right now, although I am forcing myself to finish Beloved, and not that it's bad or anything, like I enjoy it and her writing style it's just not easy for me to get into. I guess. But it's good. I don't know. It's complicated. Paper Bag Princess by Robert Munsch. Another one of my favorite childhood stories. Definitely keeping. I wanted to be here for Halloween one year. I wasn't because you can't just wear a paper bag in public unless you're going to fight a dragon. She actually doesn't fight him though. She just challenges him. Anyways, you should read it. It's great. A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I really liked the first book, or this is the prequel, I guess, to The Priory of the Orange Tree. But look at that. Look at that. That's one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. Despite whether or not I'm going to read it, I'm keeping it because look at that. The colors, the design, it's beautiful. Another version of Anna Karenina. Okay, I have to decide which one I want to keep. This one has bigger text and better pages. You know, this has tissue paper pages and smaller text. So this one does have notes in the back. This one also has notes in the back. No, it doesn't. Haha! Oh, no, it does. But not as many and not as in-depth. Doesn't have as much cultural context. So if anyone has an opinion, please help. World of Wonders. I love animals. This won awards, but it won Barnes & Noble Book of the Year. But I don't like it when you're trying to tell me information through a story. It's not, just either tell me information or tell me a story. Be a memoir or be a book about something. I don't like it when it's both. And I've had a problem with that in the past. Turquoise? No, not Turquoise. A Song? No. West? Oh. But there's one book where I did this and I just couldn't do it. So, but it's beautiful on the inside and out. So I kind of want to keep it. Maybe. I really just need to get rid of this. I'm never going to read it. The very beginning of my I want to annotate phase. And so I didn't really know what I was doing. So I just threw in a lot of colors. So it's kind of like fun to go back and see how far I've come. But I'm just never going to finish this. I'm just never going to read it. I did try to get rid of it once and they wouldn't take it. I tried to, sell it to a secondhand store and they wouldn't take it. So then I was like, it's a sign, I'll keep it. Maybe it's not a sign. But I kind of like seeing how far I've come. I'm never going to read it. No. See, this is the problem with being so damn sentimental. Little Women. This was also on my TBR video 2 years ago. I only have 100, 120, 130. About 130 pages left to finish this. I've read, up till here. But for some reason, I just can't do it. I just couldn't finish it back then. And I know if I wanted to finish it now, I'd have to restart the whole thing. So I might just forever have read 3/4 of this book. 2/3. I may just forever have read 2/3 of this book. My Antonia by Willa Cather. It's a classic and I do want to read it. And it's not that long. So that gives its bonus points. A few short notes on Tropical Butterflies by John Murray. Maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. That's not what's important to me. What's important to me is that I just think this is a beautiful book. Like, I don't know what it is about this that I just think is so beautiful. I just like looking at it. So whether or not I read it, it's the same thing as A Day of Fallen Night. Whether or not I read it, I just want to keep it because it's pretty. And I like pretty things. The Last Lecture. I wanted to read this because my mom wanted me to read it, but I don't actually really want to read it. I'm sure I think it just fits in the category of books that try hard to be philosophical, but it's all things I've heard before. So I'm like, yeah. Maybe it's not, but I don't know. I just don't really. But my mom wants me to read it, which makes me want to read it, or makes me want to keep it, because I feel like I'm betraying her if I gave it away. I'd feel so guilty if I didn't end up reading it. But not like she cares that much about this book. So maybe I'll tell her. Maybe be like, Mom, I don't really think I'm going to read this book that you wanted me to read, so I might give it away. Is that okay? I might ask her first. And then if she's like, oh, I forgot about that, then I'll feel fine and I can give it away, because I don't really want to read it. All right, so in total, I got rid of 5 books. I'm going to pull a Throne of Pages now, or I'm going to attempt to. I'm not going to buy books that I'm not anticipating or aren't auto by authors until I've read, let's say 90%. So that's my new challenge. I'm going to challenge myself not to buy books until I read through most of my TBR, my physical TBR. I already have this many books. There's at least 50 here. So thanks for watching. Let me know which ones I should move to the top of my list, or if there were any that I was like, I won't get rid of, and you were like, no, you should get rid of that. Thanks for watching. If you have, and wish me luck in this new phase of my reading life. Reading what I own. What a novel concept. Have a lovely day. And I might get to film another video within the next 6 months. We'll see.